Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
REI Co-op presents a perfect outdoor moment with the perfect gift. Picture this. You're ripping with your favorite person. Bluebird skies, blower powder, and frankly, you're skiing like legends.
So sick. Another lap?
Thanks to REI's curation, from lid to sticks, you nailed the gift.
No way. How'd you know?
Does it get more perfect than that? Give without guessing. Shop in store or visit rei.com.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And good morning. You cannot make this up if you tried. 7,169. 7,169. That is just New York alone. New York released 7,000 illegal migrant criminals onto the streets this year, including a machete-carrying maniac, a rapist, murderers. The list goes on and on. Imagine what the number might be for your state, from Virginia to Tennessee, and even West Virginia, where we air right now. West Virginia, of course, the state of the two National Guard members, the 20-year-old woman who lost her life, and the man, Andrew Wolf, 24, critically wounded, fighting for his life. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem comes up with a wonderful idea. I support it fully. She wants a full travel ban on, quote, every damn country, she says, sends killers, that is migrants, to the United States. And Governor Dum-Dum, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, could face criminal referrals as his handling of a $1 billion food aid fraud investigation is being looked at by the House and the Treasury Department. 800-848-92, that's 800-848-9222. That is the number to reach us live right now during the course of this hour. The phone lines are open. But we begin with the fact that it was just confirmed that at least in New York alone, New York City is harboring 7,169 known criminal illegal aliens, including hundreds of murderers and sexual predators.
Of justice. We're seeing that these criminal illegal aliens are exiting the jails and going back onto New York or Chicago or these other sanctuary streets to re-perpetuate their crimes. Today, in New York City's jails are 7,169 criminal illegal aliens. We're talking about hundreds of murderers, hundreds of sexual predators, drug traffickers, the worst of the worst. Dan Goldman and these other sanctuary city politicians, they should agree to hand over those individuals, honor those detainers, and then we won't have to flood the zone with our ICE law enforcement. We won't have to put those men and women on the ground because we will get these vicious criminals out of New York City's jails.
You heard it for yourself there, the worst of the worst. You cannot make this up. The White House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt on the National Guard soldiers stating that leaders have a duty to defend, and she's correct, and advance the interests of their own people, not foreign nationals.
I would like to address the horrific tragedy that took place in our nation's capital that last week. A foreign terrorist that the Biden administration failed to properly vet ambushed two members of the West Virginia National Guard who were honorably serving here to keep the residents and visitors of Washington, D.C. safe. U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf was severely wounded in the attack and remains hospitalized while he continues to fight for his life. Tragically, U.S. Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom died of her wounds. She was just 20 years old. President Trump and the entire White House are praying for Andrew's full recovery at the request of his parents and their personal phone call with the president over the weekend. And we are keeping Sarah's family and friends in our prayers during this unimaginably difficult time. Sarah and Andrew represent the very best of America. Two young patriots who were willing to put on the uniform and risk their lives in defense of their fellow Americans. Both of them truly embody the profound words spoken by Jesus Christ in the gospel. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Sarah and Andrew are heroes, and we will never forget their sacrifice. That means ensuring the monster responsible for this atrocity is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and faces the most severe punishment possible. It also means reckoning with why this atrocity was allowed to happen in the first place, so that it may never occur again. Here are the facts. The terrorist who gunned down American soldiers blocks away from the White House in an ambush was an Afghan national who was flown into our country by Joe Biden's administration in September 2021 in the chaotic wake of their botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, one of the most embarrassing moments in the history of our great country. Joe Biden's historic failure in Afghanistan continues to haunt this country and our men and women in uniform. Not only did this surrender lead to a suicide bombing that killed 13 American heroes in Kabul, but now National Guard troops were shot on U.S. soil by the same kind of enemy. We continue to live with the deadly consequences of Joe Biden's horrific leadership. Nearly 100,000 Afghans were recklessly released into the United States with little to no vetting. There was no regard for the disorder and violence that this would unleash on American communities and American culture. Reportedly, thousands of these strangers and unknown individuals were flagged to the Biden administration for national security, public safety, and fraud concerns. But the terrifying truth is that the Afghanistan debacle is just a small part of Democrats' complete and total betrayal of the American people during the Biden years.
And so, folks, if we don't understand the partisan divide, this is exhibit number A, right? Number one. Just look at how a majority of Americans are looking at what happened to the National Guard's members, and look at how Democrats are spinning this to try and put the blame on President Trump. It's despicable. There's no getting around the fact that this monster came in under Biden. There's no getting around that. I want to hear from you folks. 800-848-9222. Dominic Carter here with you. This is Governor Dum Dum. Tim Walz of Minnesota may be in some hot water. Fox News reporting, and this has been a headline throughout the day, that more than 400 Minnesota government workers say that Walz systematically retaliated the governor himself, Governor Dum Dum, against whistleblowers.
More than 400 employees of the Minnesota Department of Human Services accusing Governor Tim Walz of failing to act on widespread fraud warnings and then retaliating against whistleblowers. That department writing on X, quote, Tim Walz is 100% responsible for massive fraud in Minnesota. We let Tim Walz know of fraud early on, hoping for a partnership in stopping fraud. But no, we got the opposite response. Tim Walz systematically retaliated against whistleblowers using monitoring, threats, repression, and did his best to discredit fraud reports. Now, the claims come as some in Minnesota's Somali community continue to face allegations, with the New York Times reporting that federal prosecutors, quote, charged dozens of people with felonies, accusing them of stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from a government program meant to keep children fed during the COVID-19 pandemic. Here's Governor Walz when asked about the situation yesterday.
take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can. But to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few, it's lazy.
President Trump has said he will be terminating the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota, citing fraudulent money laundering activity.
And that from Fox News. We're about to begin with your telephone calls on this Tuesday a.m., but President Trump, for his part, doubling down after calling Governor Walz, this is his quote now, seriously retarded.
In that same post, you mentioned Tim Walz, and you called him what many Americans do find an offensive word, retarded. Do you stand by that claim of calling Tim Walz retarded?
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with him. Absolutely, sure.
But you don't think that...
You have a problem with him? You know what? I think there's something wrong with him. Anybody that would do what he did, anybody that would allow those people into a state and pay billions of dollars out to Somalia. We give billions of dollars to Somalia. It's not even a country because it doesn't function like a country. It's got a name, but it doesn't function like a country. Yeah, there's something wrong with Walz.
Something wrong with Walz, the president's words. You just heard them himself. Let's begin with your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. Let's see here. Let's go to Jerry in Manhattan, line 2. Jerry, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. The Biden administration, they let in a lot of Afghans in 2021. It was Jerry, you're mumbling. I could not understand. All I heard was Biden and Afghanistan. Go ahead. They released a lot of Afghans under a special program.
We all know that. We all know that. What's the point you're trying to make?
The point I'm trying to make is Donald Trump granted this guy asylum in 2024. Okay, the guy that killed the
guy that killed
Donald Trump's administration. They granted
the guy that killed
asylum.
How did he get into the country, Jerry? Jerry, obviously you're a Trump hater, right?
I don't hate him, but I think he's the worst president we ever had.
How did he get into the country? He got
in on Operation Allies.
No. Don't play that cuteness with me. How did he get into the country?
How he got in.
Under which president did he get into the country with?
Biden.
And you got the nerve to call here talking about Trump?
Trump granted him asylum, the same guy, in 2024. That's correct. Look it up.
Dominic is done with you.
Don't waste my time, Jerry. Let's go to Norman, line 1 in Brooklyn. Norman, what's on your mind?
Hello, Dominic. Okay. We don't have enough of our homegrown criminals. Terrorists. We have to import them from other countries. Afghanistan. This guy, he was a CIA torturer. What the hell are we letting him into the country for?
Exactly.
You knew this guy was going to crack. Okay. Anyway, I have no problem with helping Afghans, but why the hell do we have to bring them into the homeland? I mean, that is the issue.
You're preaching to the choir, Norman. We can't save the world. That's number one. We can't police the entire world. Norman, I got to take a break. I'll give you the option of holding on, but it's going to be a couple of minutes. I have another segment to do, but I've got to toss to this break. We can't police the world, and I'm sorry. If you must help them, then you help them on foreign soil, not in America. Time for a break. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly here. Donate now to toysfortots.org, working year-round, delivering hope to children at Christmas time and beyond. In 2024, Toys for Tots provided over 30 million toys to nearly 13 million children in need. Donate now, please. Go to toysfortots.org. Since 1947, Toys for Tots has distributed 708 million toys to 314 million deserving children. Working year-round, Toys for Tots. Donate now. Go to toysfortots.org. That's toysfortots.org.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana. Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And we are back. I want to return to Norman in Brooklyn. Norman, continue with the point you were making.
Oh, the point that I was making is this guy was a trained killer. And the proof of that to me was that after he shot Miss Beckstrom, killing her or disabling her, she was to die later, he picked up her rifle. He did not shoot, at least this is according to the Post, he did not shoot Andrew Wolf with his .357 Magnum. He picked up her M5 rifle, he locked and loaded it, and he shot Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf with that. Okay? So this guy was going for it. He had a machine gun in his hand. He had an M5 rifle. Standard battle rifle for the U.S. Army. Literally, and he was going to kill everybody and anybody in his path. Okay? And this guy was a trained CIA murderer. Okay? You know, they train these guys well. Okay? And what the hell? Come on, our government didn't know about this guy? You telling me Biden and the feds didn't know about this guy?
They probably didn't. The incompetence, I don't know. Hey, Norman, I got to move on, but the incompetence is at such a level that maybe they didn't. I don't know, but it's horrendous. It's horrible. Any way you want to describe it, Norman, it can be described. Thank you for the wonderful call. I'm looking at my Twitter at my ex, the lovely Liz Rosenblatt in Florida, and Liz is Miss Positive on everything. So this is what she just tweeted. Caps, the worst of the worst. And that is why I will not, she capitalizes the word not, be visiting New York City until that place is capitalized, cleaned of all capitalized. Those illegal criminals capitalized. God bless America. God bless you, Dominic. Come visit me in the Sunshine State. You know, Liz, I've often thought about what it's like sometimes. You know, I get to travel the country a lot. And I've thought about what must life be like living in Florida, where you don't have to deal with all of this insanity. Sure, you have some problems down there, and I don't know if I could take the weather. And you know I got a thing with alligators, Dominic. There are not alligators up on the road. I mean, yeah, there are alligators on the road, but generally in residential areas, you don't have alligators. I just got this thing with alligators, folks. 800-848-9222. But what must life be like to live in a place like I like Idaho? I've been all over Idaho. I've been all over Wisconsin, many states. What must life be like? I don't like the urban areas, the inner city areas, high crime. I like more of the suburban areas. Let's go to Marianne, line 3 in Queens. Marianne, what's on your mind?
Hi, my friend. Okay. You know what? I cannot understand what the Democrat Party are doing. They forgot that Trump was not around when we had a terrorist attack in the Twin Tower, killing 3,000 people, and disabling the Pentagon when we lost 100 people. It was Mr. Clinton who was the president then. Had he have been done his job like Donald Trump is doing his job now, we never had the second attack, which was the worst one. So what are these people talking about?
It doesn't
people
matter.
Allowed the guy with the plans to escape the country and come back and destroy the towers.
No, I hear you, Marianne, but to these people, it doesn't matter. It's revisionist history. It's blame Republicans all the time. And if it's Trump, it's triple blame. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Jay Kelly, the new film from Academy Award nominee Noah Baumbach. George Clooney stars as an actor confronting his past and present on a journey of self-discovery, alongside Adam Sandler as his devoted manager. Critics are calling it a declaration of love to the chaotic art of filmmaking, with the Wall Street Journal praising it as a transcendent comedy drama. Watch Jay Kelly December 5th, only on Netflix.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at Amazon.com/new Alexa.
Ford was built on the belief that the world doesn't get to decide what you're capable of. You do. So ask yourself, can you or can't you? Can you load up a Ford F-150 and build your dream with sweat and steel? Can you chase thrills and conquer curves in a Mustang? Can you take a Bronco to where the map ends and adventure begins? Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Ready, set, Ford.
Everyone wants the Emirates NBA Cup.
And things are heating up.
30 teams started. But only 8 have advanced to the single elimination knockout rounds. To survive, they'll have to be hungry, relentless, ruthless.
Are you kidding me?
They all want the cup, but only one team can claim it. Who will capture the cup? Emirates NBA Cup knockout rounds begin December 9th on Prime.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
You know, folks, in talking about Democrats and what they're doing, the guy that Obama wanted to have the Democratic nomination in the presidential race, and it might have been a different contest. I'll admit that. I'll acknowledge that. Happened to be Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. So Obama wanted Mark Kelly, and he did not want Kamala. But instead, it was Kamala, and we know what happened. She didn't win a single battleground state. How this woman ever was the attorney general, how this woman ever was a U.S. senator, I'll never know. But on the Sunday shows, Kristen Welker pressed Senator Mark Kelly to name one thing, one single illegal order that President Trump has given, and he could not.
Asked you about the substance of this video and your message in it. What specific orders do you believe President Trump made that you consider unlawful?
Well, so this is looking forward, but let me give you a pass, an outline of things that he has said. In 2016, he said that the U.S. military will follow his illegal orders. He said something on a debate stage and was reminded that would be illegal. And he said the military will not refuse his orders, regardless of whether they're legal or not. He also talked about shooting protesters in the legs. How un-American, how unconstitutional is that? Fortunately, there was a Secretary of Defense that has stopped this. He's also talked about sending troops into U.S. cities to use those cities and people for training. I mean, we're concerned because of this president with this Secretary of Defense that we could have a significant problem. So this was a simple message, follow the law, and it was looking forward.
Well, and
okay, so Senator Kelly, name one illegal thing that he did. You're just speculating. Name one, just name one. As for the strikes on those boats, I support it wholeheartedly. And here's why. If you've ever seen drug addiction up close, how could you not support it? If you've ever seen what drugs, nowadays, a small dose of fentanyl, and it could kill you on the spot. And imagine if you didn't know that fentanyl was in the weed that you're smoking, and maybe it's a level that's too high. Instant death. If you know anything about drug addiction, then you know what it does to young girls. And I'm thinking about, of course, young girls in urban areas, but I'm thinking about young girls in Vermont and Maine, where at a young age, they're out on the street prostituting their bodies to go buy drugs. I'm also thinking of boys in these same areas that are prostituting their bodies for men and so on to go buy drugs and the lifestyle that comes with all of that. So I support the administration as it relates to these attacks on boats that are bringing drugs into the country 1,000%. Oh, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? You don't think our military has enough surveillance to know when it's a regular boat? And these are high-speed boats in the middle of the night. You think they're out there fishing? I don't think so. The White House press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, talking about the issue of these boats and that the strikes are 100% legal.
Why won't the administration either confirm or deny or reveal whether or not there were survivors after that initial first strike? And what imminent threat would two survivors pose who were clinging presumably to the wreckage of that boat?
Again, as I said, I think you guys are sort of not listening fully to the statement I've provided. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was totally destroyed and the threat to the narco-terrorists, to the United States, was eliminated. And for any further questions about his thinking, I would defer you to the Department of War. I obviously wasn't in the room for these.
Just to follow up, Caroline, just on the administration's policy when it comes to survivors, was there a change in policy after this strike on September 2nd? The Washington Post is reporting that these two survivors were killed after a second strike, but then in October, two people were rescued and returned to Colombia and Ecuador. So was there a decision that was made to handle survivors differently after these strikes?
Not to my knowledge, no.
So I don't hear my colleagues when a woman is raped tragically, unfortunately, and murdered by a migrant, I don't hear my colleagues asking questions in defense of that woman the way that they are asking questions as it relates to these drug dealers from Venezuela. Come on, folks, we've got to get our priorities straight. And media, you know, I'm one of you. I know the game well. I know what you're doing. Again, to all the young ladies that have been from Maryland to Georgia, to the little girl that was raped in the park in Queens and her male friend was tied up and forced to watch her being raped. You don't ask questions in defense of these victims, but you advocate on behalf of these drug dealers? It's wrong. Line 1, Steve in Elmont. Good morning. What's on your mind, Steve?
I had a question. Hi, I have a question. It's a serious question. I'm not trying to be malicious. or anything like that. I'd really like to know what happened and where we could have fixed something. Now, we know that Biden let all of these Afghanis in after, I think, probably the most stupidest decision ever and the most embarrassing decision ever made by a president from the United States, which is just, horrible to think about. He got into the country. They know he was in the country. At some point, I don't know at what point did the CIA know that, hey, one of our guys that we were working with that's not a good dude is here. And then recently, this administration, I don't like to say Trump because I don't think he goes through the files to see who should come in or not, but he was okayed. So what went wrong? Where could we, of course, we know he should have never been in the country, but at what point did we know that we have a bad guy here?
Well, one, Steve, you're asking the question in a very appropriate way. And my response is, we all watch a lot of Hollywood movies, right? I'm serious when I say this. So we see the bad guy. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm listening to you. I said, you're right. Yeah, we watch a lot of movies.
So we watch a lot of movies and we see the bad guy and we know who the bad guy is, but that's not reality. And especially when you had an administration that was looking the other way, who's going to investigate it? Who's going to say that this person shouldn't be here? It could be career ending if you raise the red flag, if the administration doesn't want to see what's right in front of them. So Steve, I ask you a question. If the Biden administration is welcoming them here and they don't want to hear the negative narrative, are you going to risk your career and red flag a situation, or are you just going to go along and get along? Because I already know what the answer is. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go along because we also got to admit that there was tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, coming from all over the world, and these are the ones we're probably going to focus more on the ones that were flagged that we lost track of. So we don't have the manpower until something like this happens. My other question is, why aren't the other Muslim countries taking some of these migrants from Afghanistan? Like, who's taking them in besides the United States?
Most of these other Muslim countries don't play that. They don't play that at all. They're not going to take them in. Unfortunately,
so we're the bad guys when we don't want to take them in, but they're not taking them in.
They won't even consider taking them in. Steve, thank you for the wonderful call. You raised some very legitimate issues. Let's go to Liz in Florida, Miss Positive, who just tweeted she's not coming back to New York until the problems are fixed. Good morning, young lady.
Good morning, Dominic. Yes, the city. Actually, I was there, several months ago, went to a cooking class at Macy's, parked in the parking lot, walked across, just across to Macy's, and I was inhaling marijuana. Never had marijuana in my life, and I never want to ever inhale that again.
That's a rough area, Liz, where you were at. It's a very, very rough area.
But it's getting rougher and rougher.
Absolutely.
And,
Don't go there at nighttime. Don't go at nighttime.
Well, it was in the evening. I would never do it again. And, I was talking to Norman today on the phone, and I told him, I said, there's no way I'm going to walk in the streets. I said, no one's going to bother you, Norman, but, if it's between you and me, someone's going to come and attack me. And I just don't want to. I'd rather be here in Florida, and the living is wonderful. You've got the pools, the beaches, the nightlife, and the weather's conducive. You've got Disney 3 hours away. You have I'm not afraid to walk the streets here. You've got Lion Country Safari and, of course, Alligator Alley. And you have, I had to throw that in, you have South Beach, you have Cocoa Beach, you can watch the rockets take off. It's just a great place to bring up kids. And, Florida used to be a place where you went to die, and now you come here to live. And I feel so safe here, and it's really who you put in office. DeSantis is incredible. But, I love traveling, but I really don't want to put myself in any type of position or any situation where I could, get hurt. I don't think anybody should. We need to fix the problem, because I love New York too, and I want to go back to the theater and and to the opera and come visit WABC and see my friends and walk the streets again. But it's not a safe place, so something has to be done.
So why is it, Liz, in your opinion, when it comes to crime fighting, it's a serious issue in a place like Florida, but in New York, it's like, we'll fight crime. And I'm not blaming the NYPD, because they're the best police force in the country. It's just that their hands are tied. So why is it fighting crime is serious? It can't just be because you have a Republican governor, correct?
I think that makes a big difference. I think, he's tough. I mean, he puts his foot down and people listen. You can't get away with anything over here. But in New York, you can get away with anything. And that's the problem.
I'm thinking about when, the protests were going on, and you've got one sheriff down there. He said, listen, if you think that you're going to block traffic here in Florida, residents have a right to drive through you if you think you're going to block traffic. If we have to arrest you and God forbid you spit on one of us, you're going to the hospital. And then he said, we have big police dogs down here. One of our police dogs is going to say hello to you. He went through a litany of things. He didn't hide it, of what would happen if you crossed the line in Florida. But yet we just don't seem to have that here. I mean, why?
It's who you put in office. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Here, we mean business. And I think it is Republican. You put a Republican in the city, and it won't be the same. It'll be so much better, because they're going to take care of business. And it'll be safe again. It will be safe again. But right now we're going through a very, very tough time, rocky time. And I don't know. I don't see it getting any better with who's coming in as mayor. But, you never know. You never know.
You are, before I let you go, you are Miss Positive about everything. And yet it sounds like you're ringing the alarm bell. Is that accurate?
I am a realist. I am positive, and I really believe that people need to see the good. And I do believe that New York will get through this, but we all have to band together. And I had mentioned in my tweet today, I said, we need to protest. We need to shout out that, this is all wrong. And, these kids today, they're twisted, but it's, is it really their fault? It's what they've been taught. When you teach hate, that's all you know. So is it your fault? It's who taught you that. I mean, of course, it's their fault, but it's who taught them. And that is the problem. So they've been taught everything wrong. They've been taught to hate. And that's what they know. So we have to unteach that.
Fair enough, Liz. You're always positive, so I'm listening very carefully to what you have to say. Thank you for the lovely call. It is time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... there, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. One of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. Mm-hmm. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Chronic spontaneous urticaria, or chronic hives with no known cause. It's so unpredictable. It's like playing pinball. Itchy, red bumps start on my arm, then my back. Sometimes my legs. Hives come out of nowhere. And it comes and goes. But I just found out about a treatment option at treatmyhives.com. Take that, chronic hives. Learn more at treatmyhives.com.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And let's go right back to the telephone calls. We see all of your calls. If you're trying to get through, just wait a second or two and then hit redial, and perhaps you'll be able to get through. Daryl, line 4, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Daryl, what's on your mind?
Good evening. My son lives in Astoria, Queens. He's lived in Bronx and Brooklyn for over the last 10 years. I visit him there once a month. I've never had a problem in the city of New York over the last probably 6 to 7 years. Walk through the Times Square area, Macy's area, Penn Center, everything like that. Your last caller was comparing, and you were comparing Florida, the entire state, comparing it to New York City. And I guess you mean most likely Manhattan, because, Brooklyn and Staten Island and everything like that are perfectly good areas of New York. But so my question for you is, she was trying to say that Florida is so safe, but, if you looked at Jacksonville or Tampa or Miami or any of those metropolitan areas, I'm sure you're probably going to find areas that a woman would not feel necessarily safe walking around at 10 to 11 o'clock
first of all, Liz is positive about everything, even the negative things she's positive about. So for her to ring the alarm bell, I have to stop and listen. I think obviously she was not referring to urban areas because clearly urban areas across the country have crime, and Jacksonville has had some horrific incidents. I'm glad that you're able to come here and visit your son and there's no problem. But clearly you don't know much about the city, because if you did, you would know at nighttime the area that Liz mentioned over there, Macy's, 7th Avenue, 34th Street. If you go one block over, you are taking your life in your hand. If you go there when the sun is down, it is the night of the living dead. So she was pretty accurate, because, and how I'm telling you is because, and I want to let you get your say here, Daryl, because oftentimes when I have to be back into work early, I will stay in a hotel, and I will not stay anymore on the west side of Manhattan around between 34th, between 27th and up to 39th Street, because it is open prostitution, open drug dealing. You are taking your life into your own hands. So she was very realistic. Go ahead, Darryl. You got the final word before I move on.
Okay, I'm just saying, though, but I could probably find someone who lives, like you said, in Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa, Daytona. I have friends who live around Daytona. I wouldn't necessarily walk around the lower areas at Daytona Beach at 10 o'clock at night either. So, to try to make the point that New York City or New York is so bad when comparing it to the entire state of Florida, I just don't think it's the right comparison.
Well, I think it's an accurate comparison. I respect what you're saying, Daryl, but do you ride the subways when you come to New York?
I ride the N and the W trains back and forth from Astoria, Queens, but no, I'm not down in lower Manhattan or things like that, but I ride the subway all the time.
Because in the subway, you could get set on fire, you can get stabbed, you can get shanked, or you can get pushed in front of a train.
That's true. There's also 7 million people in New York City area.
Yeah, but Daryl, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to the woman that's on fire. That doesn't matter to the person that's on the track looking up and you're about to die because that train is coming and there's nothing you can do about it. So size and population, that has nothing to do with the argument. But Daryl, thank you for the wonderful call. Hope to hear from you in the future. Let's go to Steve in New Jersey, line 5. Steve, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dom. I hear people making much to do about the fact that this shooter down in D.C. got asylum under the Trump administration. I find the circumstances, and I'm familiar with the asylum process, his claim was somehow expedited. Let me explain. He's in the country 3 years, 2021 and 2024, before he makes his asylum application. You have a year. The law says you're supposed to do it within a year. All right? So he went for a hearing before an asylum officer, DHS, all right, and they denied his application. All right, probably because of that year. And that gets him to an immigration court judge.
Right.
Dominic,
Steve, I'm sorry. I have to cut you off, Steve, because we're out of time. If you can do me a favor, if you can call tomorrow night, I will gladly put you on at the top of the show, because this is a conversation that we need to have. Folks, I thank you for your time, for your commitment, for your passion. I'm back 3 p.m. Eastern. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Payne Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.